got the motor up here on the workbench. We're gonna go ahead and strip some stuff off and get the side cover yanked off, get the governor and everything pulled out of it. I think I am gonna go ahead and repurpose the tank. Just pull all the stickers off that I don't want to use. That way I got some place for Go Power Sport stickers. We're gonna go ahead and put a stage 1 in it. But for today, we're gonna get everything stripped down because I need to fix the damage that done to the starter housing here. Need to get that fixed, and the cover I'll need to get prepped and ready for paint. So we're gonna knock this thing out real quick. Probably pretty simple stuff. Everybody's done before, but maybe we'll just time lapse it or whatnot. But see if we can't get some of this stuff ripped off of here right quick. Everything, my bolts over here in a magnetic tray so we can keep track of everything. There's no gas, no oil. This engine's never been cranked up. Let's see, we got this emission control nonsense stuff. We're gonna get all this pulled off of here. Let's see, there's a hose that goes to the back of the air cleaner box right here. If I can get to this clamp, spin this clamp around, get this out of the way. And the breather for the valve cover, get that out of the way. Just gonna put this right there so we don't drop that. This is the rest of the emission stuff, which is behind a tie. Goes up here to the deal. We'll use this hose, that way we can put a little vent cap on this this hose right here for the tank. Get this off here without breaking it. There we go. All right, let's get this clamp out of the way. Put that over there, we'll reuse that. All right, we'll throw this to the side because we can repurpose the hose or the clamps off of this for sure. Kick that over there. Let's see, I had this muffler loose because I was mocking it up on the bike for the header pipe. So, I already have these nuts and bolts loose. I actually got 2 nuts and there's a lock washer on both sides. And we'll throw that somewhere for some other use. And let's see, since we're not going to be using the throttle assembly, or we might, we're going to go ahead and take it off anyway. Gas tank, all that's got to come off. So let's grab an 8mm. Thought I set it here somewhere. Oh, let's just grab a wrench. 8. Go ahead and get this back bolt out of the tank. Oh man. I forgot the radio's going and I have no rights to this music. Let me go turn that off. Hey, I found the 8mm, y'all. Stuck to the back tray. Oh well, we got another one right here. All right, where are we at? Pulling this tank off. Got a long bolt at the back, put that in there. Then we should have 2 10s on the front side. See if we can get this driver on there. There's one. Where did that nut fall? Right there. All right. 1, 2. All right. Come over here and take the fuel line off the carburetor. Easy clamp up. Put the clamp back there. We couldn't get to it. All right. Let's get the clamp off there. So we need that later. All right. Go ahead and pull this carburetor off. Got a little spring. Throttle rod. I'm gonna have to have this off anyway. Maybe the gaskets will still be good. Yeah, gasket's good. Normally, anytime you order the Stage 1 kit from Go Power Sports, you'll get a new gasket and all that stuff because we're gonna put the bigger jet in this carburetor. Go ahead and pull the insulator off if it comes off. That way we don't break nothing. Yeah, all right, put that right there. See if we can ease the gasket off. Yeah, that looks good. All right, pull the tank up, get the fuel line, and put the sleeve back on there. A little heat sleeve that they put on these tanks. All right, let's go sit this over here so we won't scratch it up. All right, I'm going to pull this throttle linkage off since we're not going to use none of, or at least not that part of it anyway. That's 8mm at this one. And we'll keep that little tie down. We might repurpose that. All right, got one more there. We'll unhook the spring. I usually keep all these old springs because you never know when you need a throttle spring for a return spring for something else you're working on. So we'll keep all this, and might repurpose this rod to make a throttle rod out of it. All right, let's see where else we need to get off. Oh, let's go ahead and yank the, well, let's leave the valve cover on there until last so we don't drop stuff down in the motor. I'll get it all sealed up. Let's go ahead and get this bent up pull starter off. One there, one there, and one at the bottom. All right, grab them, throw them in there. Yeah, I'll pull all the spool and everything off because I'm gonna strip this down, strip all the paint off of it anyway. And while I got it stripped out and got the spool out of the inside, I can go ahead and dolly this out. But when you get that ready for paint, get the blower housing off because we need to paint that. Which I really kind of hate to, but because it's such a pretty color, but it's not really gonna go with the paint scheme. So, and I didn't have another one really laying around. Oh, I kind of put a dent in that, so we need to dolly that out a little bit. One more. Then we'll come over here and unplug the kill switch. Oh, ground wire, let's take the ground wire off. Ground wire screw. I'm just gonna do this little clip right here that holds all the wires. This wire right here goes to your coil. This other wire is your ground wire, so we'll just unplug this. And we can get this out of the way. But I need to get the kill switch out of it, and that's kind of got a little bow into it, so I need to dolly that out a little bit. It'll be okay. Get that stripped, get it ready for paint. Okay, there's no oil in it. Let's see, we'll probably leave this thing on there. I don't know. Sure. All right, let's lay it up here. Might be a little residual oil in it from shipping, but it's a brand new motor, so might be a little bit in it. Get a tin over here. All right, put those in the tray. Let's see how easy this side cover comes off. I'm probably gonna put a new gasket on it just for giggles. Man, it's coming out pretty easy. Let me grab a screwdriver, let's pry on that just a hair. All right, got all the bolts? Yeah, we got all the bolts. Let's pry right here a little bit where we're not on a mating surface. There we go. You always want to try and pry on the outside edges and not where the gasket goes, so you're not gouging it up. That. All right, let's set this right here. Yeah, gasket looks good. I'm not sure. Let's see how it comes off. If it comes off good, I might just copper coat it and put it back on, since this motor's never been ran. Let's see if we can ease it off. Probably should get a razor blade and try and ease it off. Looks like it might come off without tearing. Yeah, I think so. All right. Yeah, that come off good. Both sides, so I might clean it with a little brake cleaner. Like I said, this motor is new, so any other time if the motor's been ran, the block's been through heat cycles, I would normally always put a new gasket on it. This one come off really good. I think I might just brake clean it, hit it with some K&W copper coat, and we'll put it back together. But anyway, so let's go ahead and get the cam pulled out of it. Set that to the side. Let's put that right in the cover so it don't go nowhere. Tap it. So let's get these out of the way. All right. Now there's a couple different ways you can do it. I'm going to go ahead and take the flywheel off and show you how I get it from that side. Oh, push rods. Let's get those out of the way before we lose those. And grab a paper towel over here. We got a little oil that's left in it, so we don't get it all over the place because that's going to spill. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and grab the impact. We'll get the flywheel off the other side, and we'll let this oil just drain for just a second so we don't make a mess. All right, let me grab the impact right quick. Get this motor spun around here and get the flywheel taken off of it right quick. Grab the impact. I think this is a 22 millimeter. Let's check. Let's see. Yep, 22 millimeter. All right. We'll set this over here to the side. We're going to take the nut, put the nut back on, thread it down just where end of your crank is flush, just so when you're whacking it, you don't booger it up. Let me get back here on the back side. I don't pinch anything or grab anything. Put a little pressure on this flywheel, like so. Then we're just going to smack into the crank. Hopefully one good time. Looked like it took two. Set that over there. Get the flywheel out of the way. There we go. Or we can sit this right here. All right. Now, this is what I'm going to do to get everything out of here. We're going to go ahead and take the whole governor out and get the gear out of it. I got the spark plug out. Let's go ahead and get the spark plug out. That way we can roll everything up, because I'm going to go ahead and remove the crank while I'm here. Show you what we're going to do there. But we're going to roll this down where I can get to the connecting rod bolts. They're 10 millimeter. Get these out of the way. Get this top one. I'm gonna get my fingers in here. Let's see. There we go. That's the top one. Man, how many threads they put on there. We're gonna be able to get it off right there. I think so. We're gonna be able to roll it. Nope. There we go. See that one crank bolt right there? Crank bolt. Connecting rod bolt. I'm gonna pull the rod cap off, just like so. We'll put the bolts back in it. Let's see. That one was actually in the bottom. Put that in the top. All right. Wipe my fingers off here a little bit. Now I'm gonna go ahead and roll the motor over and push the crank up. Now I can push the connecting rod all the way up into the cylinder. And we should be able to ease the crank right out like so. Now I'm gonna go over here and take just a hammer. Make sure I don't hit the crank nowhere. I'm gonna knock this gear off. Since we're removing the governor, that's just extra stuff in the motor. You can leave it on. Normally if I take the governor out of one, I go ahead and knock this gear off. So I'm gonna set that to the side for just a second. Now your governor spool is down on the inside of here. So we're gonna remove all of that. This top part up here, this nut is gonna be a 10 millimeter. Oh man. So we'll get this out of the way. We'll repurpose this. We'll throw this nut and bolt and stuff in the goodie box. Might need it for something. Now we're just gonna open this governor up a little bit. There we go. And then we're just gonna pry it straight up. There's your governor arm. Now you got a clip that's gonna hold this in, so when you pull the clip, well, we get a pair of pliers here. Fingers are a little slippery. All right, we'll pull that clip off. Keep that for something else. Now, we'll drop this straight down, and whenever you remove this, you get your governor arm out, stuck on the top of the inside of the block. See if I can get this up here where y'all can see it. Stuck on the top of the block is a washer. Always make sure you get this washer out. It'll be stuck to the top. Like this one's got never been ran, so it's got factory grease holding it in. So I've seen people that pull the governor arm out and this stayed stuck to the top because it had oil or grease on it. This will cause you some catastrophic failure if you do not get that washer out. So we got that out of the way, got the governor arm out. Now, there's different ways you can do it. You can remove the clip and everything on the inside. I'm actually gonna try and save this because there's some motors that I've tried to build for people and they've messed the governor up. So I'm gonna keep it in case we need to use it. So what I do is I come on the back side of the engine, and let me get my punch here. That's stuck to the flywheel. I just take a punch, and we're just gonna punch this dowel pin right out. We'll show you how that comes apart. And it fell out. So, oh, stay together. So, this is gonna be your governor assembly. Just like so. This is what, get in there. This is what actually comes through the back side of your block. So, now you can take all your parts out, the internals, the little flat washer. I'm gonna keep all this together. There's a little bitty snap ring. This is what holds all your governor spool inside. So if you left it in and you're trying to fight to get it out, you have to break all this plastic and stuff to get this ring out. So I'll remove this ring and keep it with the rest of the parts. Then I'm just gonna reinsert the pin back in. But also, whenever you pull your governor out, see if we can get this up where y'all can see it. Y'all probably seen this a million times, but there's also another washer right back there at the back. See if I can get in here and grab it while I'm holding the motor up, because it's stuck also. Sometimes you might take you a magnet. There we go. And you'll have one more washer that's gonna be stuck behind your governor spool. So make sure you get the one at the top, make sure you get the one behind the governor spool. And we'll kick those to the side. Now that I got this out, let me go ahead and, well, we'll get that off in just a second. What I'm gonna do here on the top, a lot of people do, you can run you a self-tapping screw through there to plug off your governor deal. I'm gonna use a 1/4 tap, and I'm gonna go through and clean everything out, blow it out real good before I assemble everything back. But if you have a 1/4 tap, you can just run right down this hole, just like so. I've seen some people use a self-tapping screw, works just fine. But I got threads in it, that way if I do decide I wanted to mount something to it later, then I can, I'll have threads in it for a 1/4 bolt. And the bolt I'm putting in is not very long. You get a little air and blow that out, or a little brake cleaner. Let's grab some brake cleaner. All right. We're just gonna give it a little shot of brake cleaner to clean all the stuff out. And I'm going to go ahead and blow a little air in there just to clean any metal shavings out of the thread. All right, got a 1/4 bolt here. I just got a short one. I'm going to put a little thread sealer on it, right on the threads. That way when you go to thread it in, it'll be good and sealed. You won't have any oil leaks. Just like so. If I can get my left hand fingers to, there we go. That's see, that's a 7/16. Let's grab a wrench. All right, plugged and sealed. Now let me get this ring off of here right quick so I can reuse the same pin. And you can do the same thing back here. I could. You know what? We might just do that. I might save this. That way I have a whole new governor deal. Let's go ahead and just run a tap through that since we already got one right here. Why not? Let's see. We all the way through? Pretty close. A few more. There we go. Same thing, we're gonna hit that with a little brake cleaner. Just blow them threads out just a little bit. All right, let me go find a bolt for that right quick. All right, found me a bolt. We're gonna do the same thing. We're just gonna put a little of this, it's like a thread locker sealant on it. Throw that over there. And it's a short bolt because you don't want to make sure you don't want a long bolt to go through there and interfere with anything. And grab a 7/16. We'll get this tight. Go the right way. There we go. All right, looks good. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and take this thing outside and make sure I get, since I'm doing tapping, I got metal shavings in it. And I want to make sure and clean out both of the oil drain cavities because they'll actually catch stuff. So I want to make sure and blow all that out, get it brake cleaned, blow it out real good. And we're going to go ahead and put everything back inside right quick. And then we'll get everything torqued down. All right, I got the motor all cleaned up, and I've been into several engines before, so I thought I would share a little tech tip with you. Now, the motor that we're working on today is a Tillotson 212 engine. And some of the other clone engines, Honda engines, have a, I guess you would call it a boss or a gusset or whatever you'd want to call it in the bottom of the crankcase. So, therefore, depending on where you change your oil or which plug you use to change your oil, you're always going to have extra oil trapped in the engine. So if you're not sure which one you have, you go to do an oil change, pull both plugs, the front and the back. Hopefully you can get to both of them. Some Honda or some clone motors only have the one plug that's in the back. There's not one accessible in the front. So depending on what your application is. But let me see if I can explain this to you. All right, let me spin you around. Now, this is the engine we're working on for the ARCO. Their bottom of the engine case on the inside is flat. Now, this motor, I'm not exactly sure what it is right offhand. I got it used. But see if we can lay it down here. Or let me see if we can stand it up right here. There we go. All right. Now you can see in the bottom right here, you have this big hump that separates your front drain plug, which is right down inside, and there's your back drain plug right there. So, let me see if I can try to explain this. So, we're gonna try and lay this spark plug box about as level as we can get it. So that's a pretty good gap underneath here. So if you're draining just out of your front plug, you're not getting all this engine oil and all the cruddy stuff out the bottom of your engine if you're using the front plug. And therefore, if you're draining out the back plug, you got quite a bit of area up here in the front that's gonna capture oil that you're not gonna be able to drain. So therefore, if it makes any sense, whenever you change your oil, God, I can't talk, pull both drain plugs. Some engines have this, and it's, I don't know if it's, you can really see it on camera. It's, I'm trying to lay that about straight. That's quite a bit of oil for a small engine that only holds, you know, 14, 16, whatever ounces, you know. So there's quite a bit of oil that's gonna get trapped in your engine right there. So there's your little tech tip, folks. Whenever you drain your oil, pull both the front and the back plugs. All right, let's get back to putting this engine together. All right, I got everything all cleaned up and blown out. I went ahead and took my side cover gasket and I cleaned it up last night, so it was good and dry. So when I got home a while ago, I brake cleaned it real good, and it's all dried. So we're going to already got it copper coated, and I wiped all this down really good. Make sure I got all the metal shavings and everything out of it. Knocked the gear off the crank. Like I said, you can leave it on if you want. It's not that hard just to tap it off. It's not going to interfere with anything. I got all this wiped down, so we're going to just put it back together. Put a little oil on everything that had oil on it. I'm going to put the crank right back in here. I'm going to reinstall the connecting rod. If I can get my fingers in here to roll it around. There we go. Come on around. Right here. Man, that old piston's in there tight. There we go. There we go. All right. This is all good and clean. And we are going to torque everything back down to the Tillotson specifications. So I have that over there on the, wrote down on the sheet. So I'll get this all tightened up and we'll re-torque everything. If I can get all my fingers to work. It's a little slippery. All right, let me go get the torque specs and torque wrench, and let's get that torque down. All right, got my torque wrench set. See if I can get this big one in here. And I already run them down pretty evenly by hand. Just work from the top, a little on the bottom. Double check that bottom one more time. All right, set this back to 0. All right, now we'll go ahead and grab the camshaft, or actually we need to put tappets back in it. All right, find my cam dot, or my timing dot on the crank, which is right there. Then I'll grab my camshaft, which is all nice and clean. I'll put a little bit of oil back on it. And you got a dot right in between the two teeth here. You got a dot on the center tooth on the crank. So just line the 2 dots up and let this one roll into place. Both my 2 dots look good. All right, and that's that. This is clean. Let me go grab the gasket and the bolts, and we'll get those put on there. All right, make sure your dowel pins are still in place, which they are. Let's see, we're gonna, look like I got a little bit of oil smudge right here. Make sure everything's good and clean, because this ain't gonna stick if you got oil all over the side of it. All right, double check my cam dots and my timing dot on the crank, both still good. Lay my gasket back on here. Try not to touch it, that stuff's sticky. All right, grab the side cover. Make sure I ain't got no oil on this. I cleaned it all out pretty good, so should be in good shape. All right, so we should be able to just slide this rascal right on here. Just like so. All right, get my side cover bolts. Get them all started. I'm gonna run them down with the, excuse me, I'm gonna run them down with the driver and just get them lightly snug, and then we'll torque everything. All right, got those. Let's stand her up, get everything torqued down. And I just kind of stagger them whenever I do them. Last one. Double check them here. All right, there we go. We'll go ahead and get the flywheel and everything put back on the other side. Everything feel good? Yeah. All right, let's go and get the flywheel on and get that torqued down. All right, we'll go ahead and put the flywheel back on. This would be the time if you were actually installing like an ARC flywheel or a billet aluminum flywheel. This is where you would remove your keyway and actually lap your crank. But this is the flywheel that was already on the motor, so we're just gonna basically reinstall it. And if I can line the keyway up. What is that? Nothing in the way. There we go, that's all the way on. And then we'll take the fan cover, line up the notches right here. Little plastic tabs on the back. You have 4 of them. So you got to make sure that they go in the orientation on the flywheel. Then you'll take your cup, same thing. You got little orientations, and then you got a little dimple. Dimple goes in that spot right there on the flywheel. Get the nut run down. And let's see, let me get my handy dandy, not so fancy tool. Don't laugh at my tool, this is just something I made to hold the crank. It's not very pretty. It was a back plate out of an old clutch. So it does the job. It's not pretty, but it holds your crank and keeps it from wobbling around while you're torquing down flywheels. So just run a few bolts in here. Like I said, it's just one I had laying around, so I was like, well, I'll just make a crank holder out of it. There we go. Ain't got to get crazy with it. Now we'll spin it around, that way we can torque the flywheel. Grab my socket here. Oh. All right, I already got my torque wrench set. One more time. Hold on, there we go. All right, that's it. Bottom end's all put back together. I am gonna go ahead and remove the valve cover because it's getting powder coated, and I think I'm gonna take the fan shroud part off the bottom and powder coat that. I'll get this stuff taken back off, and until we get ready to start assembling the rest of the motor, I'll go ahead and bag everything up, probably go and put the plug back in it, get it all bagged up so nothing gets dusty and dirty. And then I'll go ahead and put push rods and all that stuff back in it. But we're gonna see if we can ease this off and save the gasket. There we go. Put that over there. And we're gonna remove the blower. Put that down there. Is that the only screw? Oh, got one more at the top. All right, we'll kick all this stuff to the side and get it prepped and ready for powder coat. Like I said, I'll take the rest of this and go ahead and bag it up so it stays clean. And we're gonna call that a wrap. That sounds like a good stopping part for today. Let's go ahead and take this that way and put all this back up. Alrighty, looks like a good stopping part.